All right, well, today I am going to be creating an eye look, and this scarf is my inspiration. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, then please keep watching. Okay, so today I am having fun creating a look, and I like to use my clothes, or I like gathering inspiration from wherever. And so today, like I say, I'm going to be using this scarf, and I've been wanting to create an eye look with blues and browns. I think that is such a pretty combination. So I'm just putting on my eye primer. Now, I already did another video, so I have a little bit of makeup on, but I can easily just go over it. Now, I am going to use my Luxury Gathering palette that I've been using a lot of. And the blue I am going to be using is this one here. I might do a combination of these. But what I'm going to start off with are these really taupey browns for the transition shades. So let me get started on that. I hope you all have been doing really well. I'm finally starting to sound a little bit more like myself. I've been with a cold for the last week and a half even, and I'm still not 100%. Okay. So that is coming along famously. So now what I want to do is take a little bit of a real bright light color. So I think I'm going to use this color right there. And that's kind of a very light gold. And I like to use really light colors in that inner corner here. And then I just kind of sweep it to about the middle of the eye. And this way it really does brighten up that lid, which is good for me because then it makes my eye look a little bit more open. And then on the other half is where I can add a little bit more color as well as a little bit more darkness. So before I get to that, I am going to take my black and do my eyeliner. And this is doing two things. First of all, it's doing my eyeliner, but it's also providing a really dark base. And that way, when I add the color, I can put that on the black, and it actually does more of a gradient effect. So I'll show you that here in a sec. And as you can see, I'm kind of adding quite a bit of darkness right there. And then just kind of pushing it inward. All right. And so now what I am going to do is go in with this dark here, is go in with this really dark one here, right on that very corner. And just dabbing it, because look at how much there is right there. Okay. And I'm going to take this brush. I call it my bullet brush, but I'm not sure exactly the real name for it. It doesn't have one here, but and now I'm just going to kind of blend it a little bit. And man, that a little goes a long way with that one. It had a lot of payout. All right. Now I'm going to go in with this one here. And that's going to be matching the gray in my the bluish gray in my scarf. And I take this up to about halfway, no more than that. See how pretty that is? Okay. Now I'm going to take just a touch of the transition shade and then start trying to blend that in a little bit more. With the transition shade as well as that darker blue, it is trying to meld those two tones together, which can sometimes be a little tricky. And you really cannot ever overdo it with blending. I'm one who tends to get a little impatient and I don't blend enough, but you really could blend until the cows come home and still blend some more. So all right, there we go. So now what I'm going to do is go back and just touch up my eyeliner. I am going to take this liquid liner, and it is a blue liner, and it is a CoverGirl liquid liner. I just go along there. Now today I'm going to make my eyebrows, do my eyebrows real easily, and just do it with my flat eyeliner brush. So let me go and do the other eye and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, so I have got the other eye done. And now let's get on with the concealing. And I am actually going to be doing something a little different with my concealer. So basically the under eyes are going to stay the same, but I'm extending the concealing process a little bit further than I normally do. So I'm going to start off in the same spots here to brighten, here, and here. But I'm also wanting to basically contour my face. So I'm going to use the concealer to do the lightening part. And then I'll go in with my contour, which is my bronzer, to do the darker parts. So I'm going to lighten this area, these areas, along my nose, because I'm also going to be doing something different with my nose. And I'm going to start with that for right now. I am also going to, actually, let me go ahead and do that. Let me do it real quick. The sides of my mouth, and then along my chin just a little bit. I don't want my chin to look wide, so I'm just putting it right there. And then start blending. And I'm just basically pressing in with these. And I just want to get those kind of done before it starts setting up too much. Okay. Now what I am going to do is do what I usually do along here, is start pressing the concealer into place. And I'm actually kind of brightening up this whole area underneath here. That's that triangle we see, you know, people do. And then also extend along here. So what I'm doing is where you want to add the light, and what you want to do is almost create like a heart shape, like that. So you're highlighting this part in here, along here, and by doing it along here, for me, what it's doing is it's making this area a little bit bigger, making my my cheekbones look a little bit more pronounced. And then we're adding brightness in the middle of the face, and I'm carrying it along my nose because there's quite a bit of product. And then, like I say, on my chin, just to add a little bit, like to a point, like that. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and go in with my fingers because I think those are my best tools when it comes to blending my concealer on my under eyes. And this is a great way to use up some of the concealer that you might have end up not using, because it's surprising how very little concealer you really need. So you can do your whole face with what you might have pulled out for just your under eyes. All right. Now I'm going to add my foundation, and I'm going to actually put even less foundation on. And you kind of just want to blend in the areas where I did my highlighter, but not necessarily go over it. Just blend. Okay. Now I am going to set my under eyes and tap away. Now what I'm going to do is take my my bronzer, and if you have a cream bronzer, then you can use that as well. I haven't used it, not to say that I won't, but I just haven't. So I'm going to apply the same way I normally do, is along the cheekbone, underneath the cheekbone right there. Now, I'm trying to focus a little bit more, like maybe 2 inches, no more than that. Deposit the color right there, just that far. It's so easy to drag too much inward. And so applying it right there, and then lightly dragging it along your bone. So maybe by another inch. And then just kind of blending. So that way it's almost like going like this a little bit, narrowing. Okay. Right along there. And then for my forehead, so I highlighted this part here. So where I want to hit the color is along here and just along the hairline. And what this does is it makes my forehead look shorter. So hopefully the dark makes it kind of recede back a little bit. Dark makes everything recede back, and then light brings things forward. So we brighten this area to bring it forward, and now we're going along the hairline to make that area go back. And right there at the temple, you can also either leave it alone, especially if you've already got hollowing out going on there. Then you don't need to do that. Just up on the hairline to here. But like I say, you right here is where I'm brightening, so I don't want to do that part. And then I want to take my concealer and carve out my jawline a little bit. And go underneath, getting my gullet. Is that what those are called? I don't know if that's what it is or not, but. And then maybe down your neck a little bit. Another thing to do when you're contouring your jaw and your neck is make sure to go around your neck here. You want this area darkened and then blended back. And then just go kind of, you don't really have to do your whole neck, just do maybe there to tie it all in. And then along that, there we go. All right. So what I am going to do, I still have a little bit of product on my concealer brush, and that's going to be for any cleanup. And what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be contouring my nose, and I always would just kind of take something like this and just run it up and down, and that's fine for every day. If you want to get a little bit more precise, I'm taking this brush and I'm going a little bit further in. Okay. And then on this side, I hope you guys can see. Along that. Like that. Now, with my concealer brush, I'm just brightening it up along here, along the top. Another thing that I normally don't do, I'm going to do right here. And that way it's kind of sharpening up my nose And then maybe making it look a little bit shorter, okay? Not that I really necessarily have a long nose, but it's just another little trick. But you want to kind of go right there to emphasize where it stops. And then you're done. Just kidding. All right. And now I'm going back with my concealer brush and just kind of lightening it up. And blending. You definitely want to be making sure. And it's tricky. You got to practice. I've been practicing. Where you're blending, but then you're not taking off all of your handiwork. But you have to blend because you don't want to have a brown nose or a streaky nose. Now, the sides, the reason I concealed along this side is that by doing that, it's brightening up all that area, but also this area here, if you brighten it, it'll actually help make your nose look thinner. So if you take your brush and just gently go up, blending this, but by concealing along here, it's making your nose look like it's along your cheek area and not your actual nose. So it's making your nose look thinner. Okay, and I keep kind of wiping away my brush just so that I'm taking away some product. And I use my finger sometimes to help. And this is where it gets a little tricky is when you're like, okay, now I feel like I need to add more contour. Okay, so I just kind of blended a little bit more contour in there, and you kind of go back and forth. And like I say, this all takes a little bit of practice. Now, I'm going to just kind of go off the top here to blend. Okay, here we go. Now, I don't know if that's any better than the way I used to do it. I just am trying something new. Sometimes it's fun to experiment a little bit. But now what I'm going to do is then add the highlighter. So we have got our contour in. Everything's now contoured. So now it's time to highlight. And the highlight is just on the very, very high points, okay? So yes, I highlighted and I concealed and brought out the lightness under my eyes, here, along my chin. I'm not going to go back everywhere with the highlighter. I am going to just put it right here. along here. So you kind of imagine where the light would catch your face. I am going to do my nose, and what I'm going to do is with my finger go along the bridge right here and then right on the tip. Okay. All right, so we did this area, and I'm going to leave my chin alone. You can even do it right here if you want. Sometimes I'll even do that with my lipsticks, is add a little bit of sparkle right there. Okay. Now I am going to take my blush. And so I've got my concealer here, my highlighter here. I'm just going to pat a little bit of blush right there, kind of in the middle. Okay, now for the cleanup, I'm taking my foundation brush and then just going over everything, making sure all those edges are blended. Okay. Now, a couple other places I am going to highlight. Is right at the very top underneath the arch of my eyebrow. And then inside the corner right here. Just a touch. Now I'm going to go ahead and smooth over a little bit with some more powder. Again, just to kind of soften everything. Okay, and so now what I want to do is use this real, well, a brown that's very, very similar to this color. So it's a little bit warmer and darker of a nude, and it's got a little bit more of those taupey brown tones to it. So I'm going to start off with my liner. And then adding the color. And then finishing it off with my topper. All right, well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this look. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.